Okay, well I just heard some thunder, so I guess I better make this quick. There goes some more. Working on the Renegade again. This thing has a super bad transmission fluid leak. So, today, I'm going to be changing the transmission filter, gasket, fluid. So there's our pan. You can see it's a little wet. I should be able to get in here without having to drop this cross member. I'm just going to use my flex head sockets, or universal head sockets, whatever you want to call them. So, I don't know how much of this I'm going to get to record, but I'm going to pull all these bolts out, drop her down, see what we got. So I'm hearing lots of thunder. It started to drizzle a little bit, but I think I might be in the clear here. I was able to get the pan off. I just finished scraping the gasket, the old gasket off. I'm going to find out which one of these is my new gasket. Tuck it back up in there. First things first. Gotta change the filter. Pop the old one out. Pop the new one back in. Bolt her up and fill her up. Pretty simple procedure. I think that's the first automatic transmission filter I've ever seen that doesn't like just pop into place and then bolt down. That's interesting. You just have to line the hole up on it. Now you definitely want to be careful tightening the filter down, because you got to remember, you're screwing these things into aluminum. It can strip very easily, so you don't want to go nuts. Just snug it up. I got my pan cleaned up, got the magnet cleaned up. Wasn't too much metal on there. I'm just gonna put a little dab of silicone on the corners here to help hold this gasket in place. There we go. Slide the pan back in. And then bolt it up. So I got them all just started. Now I gotta snug them up. These back ones are a pain with that skid plate up there. But I'm kind of scared to drop the skid plate on this rust bucket. Probably be a can of worms. Now we're going to snug them all up, which, by the way, seems to be the reason this was leaking in the first place. All of the back bolts were loose. They were all finger tight. Somebody apparently did a transmission service on this thing at some point and failed to tighten all the bolts. So now we'll make sure they're all snug. And Chele should not have to worry about dripping fluid everywhere she goes. Okay. I'm sure with the amount of time that this has been leaking, this skid plate is probably still going to be dripping for a while. But we should be in pretty good shape here. Time to fill her up. I was told by the guy at the auto parts store that a filter change, and drain and fill and filter change, is supposed to take 6 quarts of transmission fluid. So I think I'm gonna start with either 4 or 5 and then check it. Alright, now I don't feel like a ton came out, and it wasn't really too low, so there's 4. I'm going to fire it up and see where we're at. That actually shows just a little bit above the full line, so I'm going to let it sit still for a little while, idle, and see what happens. A lot of the times you'll get a little bit of transmission fluid that'll stick to the sides of the tube after you just filled it up. It gives you a false reading, so we'll wait a minute. We want it to get up to temp anyway. Alright, let's see what we got. We are just above the full mark, a little bit over, so I'm going to call that good. A little bit over isn't going to hurt anything. That's not too bad. All done. Talk to you guys later.